Okay, if you have ever sat in a job interview, you know that exact moment. That feeling of dread when the interviewer kind of leans in and says, "So tell me about a time when." Well, today we are going to break down exactly how to answer one of the toughest types of interview questions so you can turn that moment of dread into a moment of, well, triumph.
Right? You're in the hot seat. Your mind just goes completely blank. What challenge, which time, am I supposed to talk for 5 minutes or 30 seconds? This question and all the ones like it can really feel like a trap. But what if I told you they're actually a huge opportunity to show an interviewer what you're really made of?
See, these tell me about a time questions, they're not random at all. They're part of a very specific technique called behavioral interviewing. And the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. The best way to predict how you'll perform in the future is to look at how you've performed in the past. So the interviewer isn't just making small talk. They're looking for cold, hard evidence of your skills.
So, let's tackle our opponent head-on, the dreaded behavioral interview question. I know, it's a major hurdle for a lot of people, but it's one you can absolutely learn to clear with ease.
And how are you going to do that? Well, you're going to have a secret weapon. It's a simple, memorable framework that helps you structure your answer perfectly, every single time. And that weapon is called the STAR method.
So what is it? The STAR method is basically a blueprint for telling a really compelling story about your professional experiences. It's not some rigid script you have to memorize. Think of it more as a powerful storytelling tool that keeps you focused, descriptive, and, most importantly, impressive.
STAR is an acronym, which makes it easy to remember. S is for situation. You just briefly set the scene and give a little bit of context. T is for task. What was your goal? What problem were you trying to solve? A is for action. Now, this is the most important part. You describe the specific steps that you, and I mean you, not your team, took. And finally, R is for result. What happened? What was the awesome outcome of your actions? And I really want you to pay close attention to that action step. It should make up about 80% of your entire answer. Why so much? Because this is where you actually prove your skills, your initiative, and your value. The situation and task, that's just the setup. The action is the main event.
Now, here's a crucial point. A pro tip, if you will. Do not write out your answers word for word and memorize them. Trust me, they sound like a robot. Instead, use the STAR framework to just create a bullet point outline for your key experiences. This way, you'll sound natural, confident, and a lot more authentic.
All right, theory is great, but seeing it in action is way better. Let's take a common behavioral question and break down what a brilliant STAR response actually looks and sounds like.
Okay, here's our sample question, a total classic. It's designed to see how you think on your feet, how you react to obstacles, and how you can drive real tangible solutions.
Let's break this down. The situation and task are combined here. Marketing coordinator, annual golf tournament, declining attendance. See how crystal clear the problem is? Then, the action. Look at all those I statements. I proposed, I designed, I launched, I analyzed, I recommended. This is that 80% we were just talking about. It's active, it's specific, it shows real skill. And the result? It's measurable and positive. Attendance up 10%, and a new best practice was adopted. That is a perfect success story.
So to make your answers even more powerful, let's try to think like the person on the other side of the table for a second. What is a recruiter really looking for when they ask these questions?
You have to remember every behavioral question is a targeted search for specific skills or what they call competencies. That golf tournament story wasn't just a nice little anecdote, it was direct proof of several key professional strengths.
So when they asked about problem solving, what they were really screening for were these 4 things. Did you use logic to analyze the data from the survey? That's analytical thinking. Did you find a clever way to get the information you needed? That's resourcefulness. Did you come up with a new solution? Creativity. And did you focus on a positive outcome? That shows you're results-oriented. That 1-star answer proved all 4. See how that works? Okay, so now that you know what to do, let's really quickly cover a few common mistakes to avoid. Because honestly, sidestepping these pitfalls is just as important as using the STAR method correctly.
First, don't walk in unprepared. Before any interview, you should outline a few STAR stories for the key skills that job requires, like teamwork or leadership. Second, avoid being vague. Specifics like attendance was up 10%. Make your story credible and way more impactful. Third, don't ramble. The STAR framework is designed to keep you concise and on point. Respect the interviewer's time. And finally, this is a golden rule. Never, ever badmouth a previous employer or a coworker. It just reflects poorly on you, not them. Always, always keep it professional.
So look, At the end of the day, just remember this. You already have the experience. Your career is filled with stories that prove you have the skills. The STAR method isn't about inventing something new, it's about professionally and powerfully telling the stories you already have. Now, go ace that interview.